Imagine you are a successful tech executive or a high-net-worth investor boarding a long-haul flight from Los Angeles to Tokyo. You settle into your first-class seat, order a drink, and set your smartphone to airplane mode as the plane taxis down the runway. You are completely looking forward to 14 hours of uninterrupted peace, totally disconnected from the endless stream of corporate emails, Slack notifications, and Zoom meetings. You close your eyes and drift off to sleep, completely unaware that the moment your phone went dark, your digital ghost came to life. While you are cruising at 35,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean, your chief financial officer receives a high-priority video call from you. Your face is right there on the screen, your distinct raspy voice sounds exactly the same as it did during yesterday's board meeting, and you are using your favorite casual catchphrases. You tell the CFO that an emergency acquisition just went through and you need to wire $40 million to an escrow account in Singapore within the hour. The CFO doesn't hesitate for a second. Why would they? They are looking right at you. By the time your plane touches down in Japan and you turn your phone back on, you don't just have a bad case of jet lag. You are looking at a shattered life. Your corporate accounts have been drained, your personal lines of credit are maxed out, and as far as the entire world is concerned, you were the one who authorized every single transaction. Welcome to the terrifying frontier of Identity Theft 2.0, a hyper-advanced corporate heist known as digital death, where cybercriminals use a flawless AI-powered digital twin to rob you blind while you are completely erased from the grid. To fully understand how we slipped into this dystopian reality, we have to look at how old-school identity theft has completely evolved over the last few years. If you think back to the early days of the internet, stealing someone's identity was a pretty clumsy, low-tech operation. A criminal would dig through your trash looking for discarded bank statements, buy your leaked social security number off a shady dark web forum, or trick you with a poorly written phishing email that looked like it came from a Nigerian prince. If they're lucky, they might manage to open a couple of fraudulent credit cards under your name and buy a few flat-screen TVs before your bank's fraud department caught on and shut down the accounts. It was annoying, it ruined your credit score for a few months, but it was fundamentally a small-scale, human-driven scam. But today, we are living our lives completely in the open, leaving a massive, continuous trail of digital crumbs everywhere we go. Think about it, every time you do a podcast interview, upload a video to YouTube, share a story on Instagram, or give a presentation at a corporate conference, you are handing out free raw materials to the entire world. And today's cybercriminals aren't looking for your paper trash anymore. They are using highly sophisticated machine learning algorithms to harvest your entire public existence and build a digital twin. This isn't just a basic deepfake video that looks a little blurry around the edges if you blink too fast. We are talking about a comprehensive, fully interactive algorithmic clone of your entire persona. The AI scans thousands of hours of your recorded voice to map your exact vocal pitch, your breathing patterns, and your speech cadence. It analyzes your social media posts and corporate emails to understand your vocabulary, your sense of humor, and your decision-making style. It even studies your micro-expressions, the tiny, involuntary movements of your eyes and facial muscles when you are stressed, excited, or tired. When the hackers are done, they don't just have a mask, they have an autonomous digital replica of you that can think, speak, and react in real time exactly like you would. And this is where the strategy shifts from a simple tech trick into a high-stakes psychological chess match. The criminals understand that even the most realistic digital twin can run into trouble if the real person is actively around to answer their phone or check their notifications. If the CFO gets a weird feeling and decides to send a quick text to your personal number saying, "Hey, are you really asking for $40 million?" the entire scam collapses instantly. So, to ensure the success of the heist, the hackers have to pull off the most critical and chilling phase of the operation. They have to trigger your digital death. Digital death is essentially a state of total, forced isolation where the real victim is completely cut off from the global communication network, rendering them an invisible ghost while their AI twin runs the show. Cybercriminals have become absolute masters at finding or creating these perfect windows of silence. The easiest way to do this is to simply exploit natural blackouts, like the 14-hour flight across the ocean we just talked about. But if a victim doesn't travel often, the hackers will gladly engineer a blackout themselves. They might pull off a highly coordinated SIM swap attack, a scam where they trick your cell phone carrier into transferring your phone number to a blank SIM card in their possession. Instantly, your real phone loses all cellular service and goes completely dead, while the hackers start receiving all your text messages and two-factor authentication codes. Alternatively, they might launch a targeted cyber attack directly at your home network, flooding your personal devices with so much junk traffic that your internet completely crashes, leaving you totally stranded in the dark. While you are sitting in your living room scratching your head, wondering why your Wi-Fi router is blinking red and waiting on hold with customer service, the hackers drop the hammer. The AI digital twin steps into the light and takes over your entire life. It calls your bank's private wealth management division to request urgent wire transfers. It logs into your corporate portal, passing advanced facial recognition security checks with flying colors because the synthesized face moves with perfect, organic fluidity on the screen. It can even bypass what security experts call behavioral biometrics, cutting-edge safety systems that track the specific way you move your mouse, how fast you type on a keyboard, or the unique angle you hold your phone. Because the hackers have spent months monitoring your digital footprint, their AI twin replicates those exact micro-movements perfectly, giving the bank's automated security systems zero reasons to raise a red flag. The absolute scariest part of this whole scenario is the sheer, blinding speed of the execution. In a traditional corporate heist, a group of human criminals might take weeks to slowly move money through various accounts to avoid detection. But an AI twin operating during a digital death window doesn't have any human limitations. It can hold a live video conference with your accounting team, sign complex digital contracts with a perfect replica of your biometric signature, and coordinate with multiple financial institutions all at the exact same time. It moves with the cold, relentless efficiency of a computer program, systematically stripping away your assets and routing them through a complex web of shell companies and private cryptocurrency networks before the real you can even figure out why your smartphone won't connect to the local cell tower. And when you finally manage to break out of your forced isolation and plug back into the world, you walk right into an absolute psychological nightmare. Imagine the sheer terror of turning on your phone and seeing dozens of missed calls from panicked business partners, frantic security alerts from your banks, and urgent messages from your family. You call your company's security team to scream that you've been hacked, but you are instantly met with cold, hard skepticism. Why? Because the bank shows you the recorded video log of the transfer authorization. They play back the audio file where you clearly stated your mother's maiden name and your private security passphrase. They show you the time-stamped digital signature that perfectly matches your historical typing patterns. To the entire legal and financial system, the evidence is completely ironclad. You did this. This creates a massive, unprecedented crisis for our legal system, which is currently completely unequipped to handle this level of technological deception. For hundreds of years, eyewitness testimony, video recordings, and voice verification were considered the ultimate gold standards of truth in a courtroom. If a security camera caught your face and a microphone recorded your voice, that was the end of the discussion. But in the era of identity theft 2.0, those traditional pillars of proof completely crumble. We are entering a bizarre, upside-down world where you can find yourself forced to prove a negative, to somehow convince a judge or an insurance company that the perfect biometric recording of you authorizing a multi-million-dollar fraud was actually an invisible digital ghost. The psychological toll on victims is incredibly devastating. It leads to a deep, pervasive sense of paranoia where people feel like they can no longer trust their own reflection in the digital mirror, knowing that their very face and voice have been weaponized against them. So, how do we protect ourselves in an era where our own biology can be copied, pasted, and turned into a financial weapon? The painful truth is that we have to completely abandon the idea that our faces, our voices, and our fingerprints are secure keys to our wealth. Biometrics were a great convenience feature for unlocking our smartphones, but they were never designed to withstand an era of hyper-realistic generative AI. To survive this new landscape, corporations and financial institutions are going to have to go completely old school, moving back to a model of radical human verification and cryptographic safety. We are starting to see the rise of post-biometric security strategies that don't care what you look like or what you sound like on a video screen. Instead, they rely on uncrackable physical keys, small, specialized USB devices that you must physically plug into a computer to authorize any high-value action. If the physical key isn't present in the machine, the transaction blocks automatically, no matter how much the person on the screen looks and sounds like the CEO. Furthermore, major corporations are starting to implement strict, analog callback protocols. If an executive requests a massive, emergency financial transfer, the security team is required to completely ignore the digital communication channels and use a prearranged, completely offline method to verify the request, like physically meeting in person, or using an old-school, analog landline phone with a secret, rotating code phrase that is never written down on any digital device. At the end of the day, the rise of the digital twin heist is a massive, sobering wake-up call for a society that has gone completely all-in on digital convenience without building a proper safety net. We spent the last decade eagerly uploading every aspect of our lives to the cloud, completely infatuated with the magic of connectivity, without ever considering how that data could be harvested and turned into a weapon by a sophisticated adversary. The next great battle for security won't be fought with bigger firewalls or more complex passwords. It will be a battle to reclaim the very concept of human authenticity. We have to realize that in a world where everything can be perfectly simulated, the only things that truly matter are the things that cannot be copied, the physical, the analog, and the face-to-face human connections that no algorithm, no matter how brilliant, can ever truly replicate. If we don't start shifting our mindset right now and building these human circuit breakers into our financial and corporate systems, we will continue to watch this terrifying trend grow, trapped in a world where anyone can be digitally erased and robbed by their own ghost in the machine.